you know, I figured I'd show you guys. This isn't even my good press. This is my junky backup press that we have at our second location, our satellite store. I'll do a really good video on my Cadillac drill presses at our other shop. But as you can tell here, I am plugging this bowling ball. Where you see the plug at, the epoxy, that's where the finger holes were, that's where the thumb hole was, right? I'm going to try and do this one-handed because I forgot to bring my stand with me, my camera stand, like a Dumbo. See here if people start getting signed on. But anyways, you get everything locked down, right? You get the cutter evened up, centered up as best as you can. You get that locked in, you make sure everything's locked in, hit the green button, and you go. Now, you want to ease into the epoxy. You don't want to jerk like that. If you jerk like that, you're going to get really big chip outs, and you're probably going to have to replug your ball. So you just want to ease into the epoxy. Hear that shock vac? You just keep going till you get that cutter flush with the ball. What up, Apache? I usually have the shot vac in the other hand, sucking up all the dust, but I got the camera in the other hand, so there. All right, now that you got that close, oh, you know, just fighting people on the tool bear, you know, just another day at Tools with Big Josh, fighting monsters. Got guys threatening to come to my house now, Apache. Guys are literally threatening to come to my house and take care of it. It's actually quite comical if you ask me. Alright. As you can see, this side's a little bit higher than this side. So, I already moved the ball. We're going to just try and shave it off on that side. Make sure I got this locked in. We want to get the epoxy as close to the ball as possible without damaging the bowling ball. Just like that. Boom. Now, I'll take this with paper and some bevel knives and get this completely flush with the ball, and it's like there was never even a hole there. Bada boom. Yeah, keyboard warriors, I know, but you got to take it somewhat seriously, Apache, because what happens when they do show up? So, you know, there are Looney Tunes out there. There are serious Looney Tunes out there. Now we're moving the ball so we can get the fingers up and in there. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Oh, wow, we got 43 people watching. Hit the like button there, guys. Hit the old like button. Now, this is a Jayhawk drilling mill just for bowling balls, okay? That's how you change the drill bit speed with the belts inside of here. This is a very old mill, okay? It's got very old digitals. Actually, the batteries just died on them today, so I'm using the analog numbers on the table today because the digital batteries just took a shit and I got to go get new batteries for them. Figures, right? That's what happens when you're not in here all summer and then you got a couple of appointments scheduled and this happens. What about balls for broken knuckles? What do you mean about that, buddy? Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to chuck this up. I'm going to set this down real quick while I chuck this up. All right, I'm back. So same thing. We're going to get this lined up. All right. Get that centered up as good as you can because you kind of want it even on all sides. It makes the sanding work when you do more detail work on the press, it makes way less sanding work later on. And I'm going to be honest with you, sanding work sucks. So I try to do as little as possible sanding work and just try to do it right the first time on the press. All right, let's see. We're not even going to turn on it because I can't even use the vacuum right now. So we're just going to turn on the press. Same thing. You want to ease into it. You don't want to jerk. If you jerk, you're gonna chip out your plug and you're gonna have to redo it. Just easy. You could do this with a router too. You could do this with a trim router. That's how the old school guys used to do it, and they still do it that way. But the router is a pain in the ass. This is much easier, and it's much more repeatable. Now that you're into the epoxy, you can kind of hammer down on it. There. Okay. Shut it off. Let's vacuum it up. See where we're at. Oop. All right. As you can see how much higher it is over here? See how much lower it's closer to the surface here? It's because this ball is a tad bit out of round by the fingers, which is okay because you don't roll over your fingers. As long as it's not out of round where the ball is rolling. So we want to move it back over here so we can shave off the excess on this side. Just give it a little tappy, like on Happy Gilmore. Don't blow out your plug. Yeah, right? So what you're saying, you need a certain level of skill to operate this. You mean AI can't teach me how to use these older tools, damn. Yeah, exactly, Apache. Oh, and I wanted just to put this up here. For all the, naysayers that, don't think I own the bowling, the pro shops. So that's Butch Ben Hazelton, Hall of Famer in our area. He owned this pro shop at this location for almost 50 years. He finally retired at the age of 83. Me and my friend Brad took it over. And that was the sign that the bowling alley made us when we came in a few years ago, and we just left it there. So I believe that says Josh Nowak on his second location of 10 in the Pit Pro Shop to Wimbledon Lanes family, coming soon. I wonder, I guess I just hand out bowling shoes for a living, guys. I don't know. All that misinformation. Yeah, naysayer language, yep. All right, now we're going to shave off the rest of this excess here. And then I got another one to cut down. You just want to go slow. It's all touch and feel. I've been doing this 20 years. Boom. Just like that. Just like that. It's pretty close. There's a little bit of excess there, but we'll get that with the sandpaper. It's not worth marking up the ball to get that tiny little bit of excess. That will come off real easy with sandpaper. But some guys will leave it an eighth of an inch up top and then sit there for an hour and sand on it. I don't understand those people. They're afraid to make a mistake. That's those people. But guess what? When you're experienced and you're not afraid to make a mistake because you know how to do the job right, you're never going to make that mistake. So I can't tell you the last time I marred up a ball. It's been over a decade since I've marred up a ball. Okay. Now that's one ball for the customer that's coming in a few minutes. And this is the other ball. Oop, I don't want to show his phone number. Hold on. Let me wipe that off. I don't want Dena Tools fucking getting one of my customers' phone numbers. You know what I mean? That would be bad. All right, as you can see, this is where the fingers were. This is where the thumb was. All this is deep pour epoxy. That's all it is. In the bowling industry, they call it ball plug, but honestly, it's just deep pour epoxy, and then that company puts their name on it and calls it ball plug. So I don't play that game. I got a distributor out in Florida. It's called US Composites, and I buy it by the gallon. So I got like probably 100 gallons of epoxy just laying around both my shops, which also comes in hand when I'm doing cool woodworking stuff. That's why I'm starting to get into the live edge wood and epoxy resin tables. And I kind of want to get into epoxy resin countertops. I kind of want to do my countertops at home with epoxy resin, but my wife keeps telling me no. So y'all gotta talk Christina into letting me do that. All right, guys, I'm gonna put this down again. Hold on. All right, here we go. Heading to the motocross races. That's nice. See, while everybody else is having fun, Big Josh is over here working. I wish I could have fun. Work 7 days a week, guys. Tomorrow I'm working the shift at Pep Boys. Today I'm in my shops taking care of customers. All right, here we go. We're going to cut this one down now. We don't need the vacuum. Same thing. Ease it in. Once you get into the epoxy, once you get that first little bit off, then you can push hard and go a little faster. All right. It's a little uneven on the other side. These are older bowling balls, guys, so they're a little out of round around the fingers because the more you work on a thumb hole and you sand it and all that type of stuff, you just get it a little out of round around that thumb hole, which is no big deal because nobody rolls over that part of the ball. But this is what happens when you just want to go easy, get as much off as you can. That's as much as I want to get off because it is that out around, so we'll just sand that off on the spinner. Yep. What's happening? I'm showing people what I do for a living, you know, because there's this conception that I hand out bowling shoes for a living. And I'm doing all this one-handed too. And my appointment just walked in, so I'm going to have to get off here, guys. Maybe we'll get back on here once I get this guy's bowling balls out, okay? All right, guys. Be on the lookout. I'll probably go live here in a couple more minutes once I get these drilled up. All right? Peace. What's up, guys?